Hi, this is Gary with MacMost Now. Well, it's 2 days away from the release of Snow Leopard. Let me answer some of the most frequently asked questions that I've been getting. So the first question is when? Well, August 28th. That's this Friday. You should be able to walk into Apple stores when they open and come out with a fresh new box of Snow Leopard. But how about new Macs? Well, you'll be able to get Snow Leopard on new Macs on the same day. So any Mac you purchase on the 28th from an Apple store will have Snow Leopard on it. Well, which Macs will run Snow Leopard? Well, any Mac with an Intel processor and 1 gig of memory or more. For specific details, there's a list at Apple's website. So how much does Snow Leopard cost? Well, it's $29 for an upgrade from Leopard to Snow Leopard. Now, if you want to get a family pack, which is basically 5 installs in one household, you can get that for $49. Well, what if you're not upgrading from Leopard? Well, if you have an earlier version of macOS 10, but you're still running an Intel machine, you can purchase the full version of Snow Leopard as part of a box set that includes Snow Leopard, the iLife 09 suite, and the iWork 09 suite. The whole thing will set you back $169. Well, what if you just bought a new Mac? Well, if you bought it on or after June 8th, you can get an upgrade for only the cost of shipping and handling, but you have to order it within 90 days of your purchase. Check out the Apple website for details. I've gotten this question a few times. People want to know, should they buy Snow Leopard or Snow Leopard Server? Well, Snow Leopard Server isn't like Windows Ultimate. It's not a premium version of Snow Leopard at all. It's for people actually running servers. So basically the answer is, if you have to ask, no, just buy Snow Leopard. So how does the upgrade work? Well, you insert the DVD and you run the upgrade. It will walk you through step by step, and it will replace Leopard with Snow Leopard. It won't wipe your hard drive. All your files, all your documents, all your music, all your photos, all that stuff will remain there. And all your applications will remain there as well. And anything that's part of macOS 10, like standard applications like Safari, Mail, Address Book, all that will be upgraded as well. Should you wipe your drive and do a clean install of Snow Leopard for the best results? Well, I don't recommend it. The installer supposedly really knows how to do things, so you should just do the standard upgrade. And then you don't have all that hassle of trying to replace all of your applications, documents, and things like that. But if you really want to, supposedly on the disk there is a disk utility which you can use to wipe the drive and then install a fresh copy of Snow Leopard. But I don't recommend it. Well, will all of your third-party apps work on Snow Leopard? Well, yes and no. They should. Anything Intel compatible really should work on it. But some older third-party apps may not. If you're not up to date on them, or if the software vendor hasn't kept their code up to date, then it may not work. Check with the software vendor to see whether or not they've tested their application in Snow Leopard. There's also a website you can go to that has a list of people that have tested different applications running under Snow Leopard. Should you back up before doing your Snow Leopard upgrade? Absolutely. You should back up before doing any large upgrade or anything that affects your hard disk. You should back up on a regular basis using Time Machine. That way you just don't have to worry about it. Snow Leopard is supposed to take up less space than Leopard. It's because the applications have been streamlined and they take up less hard drive space. But will you get that advantage if you simply upgrade from Leopard to Snow Leopard? The answer is yes. The installer will actually replace applications and parts of the OS that take up more space with the new Snow Leopard versions. Some reports are that you'll get back up to 6 gigabytes of space on your hard drive. Imagine that, an OS upgrade that gives you back space on your hard drive. QuickTime X is all new in Snow Leopard, but what if you're a QuickTime Pro user? There is no QuickTime X Pro. Well, the good news is that QuickTime 7 Pro will remain on your hard drive and continue to work. So while there are some features that are duplicated between the two, any special QuickTime 7 Pro features you can just simply access by running QuickTime 7 Pro. So by far the biggest question I get is, should I upgrade to Snow Leopard? My answer is always going to be yes. I mean, after all, you take your car in for a tune-up every once in a while, don't you? Why wouldn't you take your computer in for a tune-up? Doing this is kind of like that. I mean, if you spent $600, $1,000, $2,000 on your Mac, shouldn't you be running the latest and greatest version of the OS on it? Apple's made it easy for us to decide with the low $29 upgrade price. Now that's my look at the most frequently asked questions about Snow Leopard. You can go and add some of your own frequently asked questions at the comments to this post at MacMost.com. Also, starting on Friday, I'll be posting a bunch of different special episodes over the next few weeks about the new features in Snow Leopard. In addition to that, on Friday, I've got an exciting announcement about Snow Leopard and MacMost that you're not going to want to miss. Till next time, this is Gary Rosenzweig with MacMost Now.